All right, hey, so let's talk about who God is a little bit this morning. So I'm in Hebrews chapter 1, and starting in verse 10, it says, "And thou, Lord, in the beginning hast laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the works of thine hands. They shall perish, but thou remainest. And they all shall wax old as doth a garment, and as a vesture shalt thou fold them up, and they shall be changed. But thou art the same, and thy years shall not fail." All right, let's talk about that a little bit. All right, so it says God laid the foundation, right? We know that all things were created by him. In fact, it talks about them being created through Jesus in this chapter. But that foundation, right, is the basis, the support, the establishment of all things, right, that built up in God. By all things, or by him all things consist, and for him all things consist. And so he laid that foundation. He created the heavens and the earth, and with the works of his hands. So that means he's in control. He gets to say it's up to him. And then it goes on to say that those things are going to wither away. Those things are going to fail. The Bible talks about, when the earth was flooded, but there's going to come a day when it's going to be consumed with fire. And I don't know when that is. It's at some point, probably closer than we think, but nonetheless, those things are going to fail. Those things are not going to last. Even though God had this basis of all things, some of those things aren't going to remain, but his word is always going to remain, right? Tried 7 times by the fire, it says in Psalms. Nonetheless, all right, that's not the point. The point is that even though these things that are so important and relevant to us, because it's all we really know, they're going to end. They're going to change. In fact, things throughout our entire life are constantly going to change. But it tells us right there, but thou art the same. Thou art the same. So, can we depend on things to remain the same? No, not unless it's Jesus. Can we depend on things to constantly change? Yes, except for Jesus, because he changes not. That's what the Bible tells us in Malachi 3:6. He says, "For I am the Lord, I change not." And so what are we going to trust in when we got all these things failing? When, right, the earth is going to fade, heaven's going to fade, we're going to stand on the basis of what he said, who he was. All right, he tells us he's a lot of things. So who is he? If we look back at verse 3, it tells us, let's see, who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, and holding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sins, sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high. That's who God is. Jesus is the exact representation of God. He is God in human body, in human form. If you're wondering who God is, you can look to Jesus. If you're wondering who Jesus is, you could look to God. And I'm going to read some of the names of God right throughout. It tells us that he's the Most High. He's a jealous God. He's an eternal God. He's an almighty God. He is the Lord over all the earth. He is the creator. He's our sword. He's our mighty in battle. He's our redeemer. He's our judge. He's the God who saved. He's strong. He's mighty. He's our provider. He's our glory. He's our salvation, our refuge, our shield, our fortress, the one who makes us holy. He's our righteousness. He's our king, our deliverer, our banner, our light, our shepherd, our healer, the Lord of hosts, our rock, our strength. He is our peace. He's the God who sees everything. He's our help. He's the God that forgives. He's our master. He is with us. He's our Father. So who are we going to look to? Who are we going to trust in? Who are we going to depend on when all the things of this world are changing? We're going to look to the one that changes not. We're going to look to him for his character, for his truths, for his word, because he's always just, he's always perfect, he's always right. He is love. He is good. We're going to look to him. When all else fails, we'll look to him. And again, not only does it says, "For I am the Lord, I change not," he tells us later in Hebrews 13, is Jesus Christ the same yesterday, today, and forever. He changes not. That's who we can trust in. That's who we can go to, regardless of all the things that are changing around us. All right? Be blessed.